Wow. Yeah, this is part two of my sort of reaction video to Semifinal 1 of Eurovision 2018. Um, by the way, if you are wondering if there's a reaction video of me reacting to the semifinalists that qualified um, being announced, I mean, there is, but it's been made pretty clear to me that that cannot be posted with any audio at all, and it would be weird if you just see me going like without any sort of frame of reference as to why I'm doing that. So, um, also please know that I don't want to talk about semifinal 2 today. We can talk about it tomorrow. We can talk about the grand final later. Right now, I'm going to focus on semifinal 1 and the acts that did qualify and sort of my thoughts on them. Something that I did forget to sort of to talk about in part 1, if you didn't watch that one, please go back and watch it. But the host, right? I'm not sure that we need 4 of them. Now, here are just my thoughts. I think we would have been good with 3. Okay. My favorite is it Filomena? Is that how you say it? The one who was interacting with the artist. To me, I mean, she's hilarious. She's quick on her feet. She can sort of step in when some of the other hosts get a little lost or confused. I liked the 2 that announced who the top 10 were. I thought that they did an excellent job at that. Now, the 4th one, I'm not sure about her. And some of the humor and some of the jokes, unless I was the only one who didn't get it, just seemed kind of off to me. I don't know, but I love Philomena. I wish she had more hosting duties than just what she was doing. Cause yeah. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the acts that qualified. That's what you came for. That's what you're gonna hear me talk about. Let's start. And I'm just going in the order that they performed. Albania. If you go back and you watch my first prediction video for semifinal 1, Albania was my dark horse picked, and I told you guys then to not write him off. To me, he is the best vocalist in the entire competition, and to tell you that I'm so proud and excited for not just him but for Albania to qualify for the grand final. And I mean, you guys believed in him so strongly, and you were not going to let me just react to the official music video. You wanted me to hear his live vocals because you kept saying they were impressive, and they were more than impressive, and I told you that, and that's why it was my dark horse pick. Here's one thing, Albania. You're not a dark horse anymore. You are a grand finalist in Eurovision 2018, and that is something that you should be so proud of. There were a lot of the announcements that when they made them, there were tears in my eyes or I was crying. This one I had tears in my eyes because you could feel how much it meant to him and to the entire delegation, and I could just think of all of the people back in Albania that believes in him so strongly and how amazing they must have felt to hear their country's name said. I mean, Albania, I love you. He was my dark horse pick to qualify. I'm so glad that he did. He deserved it. Czech Republic. Given the circumstances with his back, it was okay. I hope that he's able to sort of recuperate a little before the grand final, because and it wasn't just him, but some of the cuts with the camera angles I thought were super weird, and some weren't even in focus, and some didn't have the it was just confusing. I'm glad that he qualified. He deserves it. And Czech Republic, you deserve it, and I hope that you're proud of him. Lithuania. I'm actually gonna make a separate reaction video for how I felt about that one, because it was so different for me than, all of these other acts. So I'm going to come back to you, Lithuania. Stay tuned. Israel, I, I'm happy that you qualified. I predicted in both of my videos that you would, and you did. And it's going to be great to hear that in the second half of semifinal, or of the grand final. Estonia, I'm starting to think like she is a little bit of a robot or something. Like, she does not hit a wrong note. I loved how the audience responded to her, because opera's not always been that well accepted, from what I understand, at Eurovision. But everything about her is breathtaking, and she could win this. She could win the whole thing. I honestly believe that. It was that good. So congratulations, Estonia. I'm so happy for you. I picked her to advance out of both prediction videos, so I'm glad she did. Bulgaria. Okay, this is what I'm talking about when I say that after the first rehearsal or two, the delegation, the group, they need to go back and sort out the technicalities, because it was a hot mess for Bulgaria after that first practice. The second one was a little better, but you can tell they went back. They worked on every single camera shot and every single frame and every single movement on the stage, and it showed. And I was just so happy, and I was so proud. I predicted you guys would qualify in both of my prediction videos, so I'm so glad that you did. Austria, after he performed, I was just kind of like, whoa. Like, I think he'd been holding back in the rehearsals, and totally understandable, but it was so strong vocally. And, I did have him qualifying in my first prediction video. I didn't in the second, just because I felt like he had been holding back, and this proved that I was right. The one thing that I'll say about this, and this is all I'm going to say, is that humility and being humble is so important, I think. And one of his, when they asked him in the press conference afterwards, or in the interview, it wasn't in the actual presser, it was just a camera with a mic, but they said, how did you feel when they called your name to qualify? And his reaction was, I wasn't surprised, I knew I qualified. And that to me, in order to really do well, you kind of, have to have some humility. It's fine to be proud of yourself, and you should be, but just sort of be humble, appreciate this huge gift that has been given to you and that you earned. Because Austria, that was something else. It really was. I loved it. Finland. In both my prediction videos, I had her going through I still feel like there's a couple things before the grand final that they need to kind of tweak a little bit, and oddly enough, it didn't have anything to do with her. I feel like when they do the I ain't scared no more part, there's somebody doing like a really high screechy part. It's a background singer that needs to be nixed before the grand final, because it was distracting, and a backing vocalist should never, ever be distracting from the artist, and every time it distracted me. But Sarah Alto, as much as some people want to hate on her, saying that her voice is just shrill or she's screaming, no, she can sing. She can sing. So just stop with all your hating. She's in the grand final. I wish Finland the best of luck. Some of the camera angles I still feel like could be worked on a little bit. And then that high part of the I ain't scared no more, like the super shrilly, shrieky one. If you know anyone in the delegation, let's get rid of that, please. I'm telling you, just get rid of it. Okay, actually, Cyprus, not surprised at all that I predicted you would qualify from both of them, and you did. And honestly, you probably won that semifinal, although we don't know until after the whole thing's over who actually won each of the semifinals. But Cyprus, I mean, you got to be so incredibly proud. uh, the the stage presence that she has is unlike anyone else in this competition, and um, I'm just so happy for you. Um, okay, I, Ireland. I saved the most surprising for last, right? Um, the way, and I try not to tear up again because I definitely cried when they announced Ireland as being a semifinalist. The way that the live audience sort of embraced the couple, who were the dancers, but they were supposed to be representing a couple who was actually living out the song that Ryan was performing. That just sort of sent shivers through my whole body because, again, I felt like part of a family. I felt included. I felt, loved and celebrated. And um, I was just so, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was shocked because I did not think that, Ireland would be able to take on the likes of Azerbaijan, um, and who was the other person who didn't qualify that everyone pretty much picked? Greece. Um, but at the end of the day, what this proves is that songs are about stories. This told a story about love, albeit not, you know, a super optimistic song about love, but you guys accepted it. Um, and I'm so happy for Ryan, for Ireland, for the dancers, and I want to thank Portugal again and the audience for sort of being just so accepting of the message that he was trying to convey. You have no idea how many kids were probably sitting at home, um, all over the world and saw that performance, and maybe for the very first time in their entire lives, they thought, they could be telling my story. Maybe I'm not that different. Maybe what makes me different is not that bad. Um, maybe you know I, I shouldn't be thinking about how I'm wrong all the time. Okay, I'm gonna stop with that. But yeah, I'm gonna make a special reaction video for Lithuania. But those were my thoughts on the qualifiers. I I told you guys that we were gonna be shocked by a few of them. Um, and for every Albania that made it in and Ireland that made it in, there were countries sent packing who people had pretty much said, we're gonna get through. You can't predict this. You just can't. I love you guys so much. I cannot wait until tomorrow when I'm gonna react again and make my final predictions for semifinal two. Um, this was such a joy, and I enjoyed every single second of it. Mostly because I could feel all of you in my heart around the whole world. We were all watching this live together. We were all experiencing it. I felt the love, and I just appreciate it so much. All right, peace.